everyone. It is Monday night. It's 9 o'clock. Welcome back to Braw Cast. I'm Billy Kirkwood. We're going to have a great show for you tonight. Before we kick things off and get our very special guest on, wherever you're watching in the world, let us know. Say hi to us in the comments. We've already got a whole bunch of people. We've got about 60 people watching. Let's get that number up. So if you're part of the Brawtherhood, if you like Braw Beard oils, if you like anything at all, hey, maybe you're into bodybuilding, no clue who our guest is going to be tonight. Here is what you need to do. You need to hit that share button and let people know, because we're going to have a great show tonight. Don't forget to check everything out as well. Let's go over Braw Beard social media. Whole bunch of people on saying hello, but we won't mess about. Let's get the show started. First of all, we've got a very special guest. Not only is he a Braw athlete, part of the stable of Braw athletes we got, but he is a competitive bodybuilder, a coach as well. We're very excited, despite the fact that I know he's in lockdown. I've already had a little sneaky peek at his home gym, and it is absolutely bloody amazing. So let's get this rocking and rolling, shall we? First of all, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Calvin Gowland. I'll just make sure he's definitely there. Hello!
Yeah, I didn't know it was live. I thought it was just going to be like filmed and then put on with its live still.
Oh shit, man! Sorry, I didn't know that. Well,
no, I'm filming it now. I just didn't know. Pressure.
Don't worry about it, man. There's no pressure here. We're just gonna have some fun. Thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. I
wanted to do a podcast for a while, but I've ended up just putting off because I want to do my own. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to feature on other people's first. This is my first actual podcast, to be fair.
No way, really?
Yeah, I'm in front of the camera all the time, but I've never done a podcast.
All right. Oh, well, listen, we'll get...
I like a conversation with somebody on like kind of like one, but wasn't filmed or anything, so it was just the audio one.
Well, here we go, man. Listen, we're basically breaking your cherry. Is that the phrase? I don't think it is.
Burst your cherry.
Burst your cherry. Listen, we're going to have ourselves a great time. Just before we kick off, if anyone's got any questions for Calvin, now's the time to do it. You can hit us up in the comments. We're going to come straight through to me, and we're going to put them through to him as soon as we can. First of all, where are you, mate? Where is it you are right now?
So I live in a village in Hawthorne. It's in Se2.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where Se2 is, so then it's Sunderland. And if nobody knows where Sunderland is, I say Newcastle. And if they don't know where Newcastle is, I just say England.
If they don't know where Newcastle is, they're in trouble, I would say. And you're in the home gym. You're in your home gym.
In a minute, just a stable, which same week I've pretty much done everything in here. Just painted the walls black because it had cobwebs, and we've had like birds' nests. This is a stable that I'm in, and then I've just put a carpet down so it's a little bit warmer and started putting in some kit. So yeah,
man, I'll just get a little look at it there. It puts most gyms to actual shame. Some of the ones that I've seen, man. It looks really, really good. And how have you found lockdown? I know it's starting to get eased off a little bit, but how have you found it?
I haven't found it difficult. I'm off work, so it's ideal for me. And I still actually have no clue when I'm going back. Even though I do online coaching and like fitness is that's my passion. I'm an engineer and I work for Rolls-Royce, and we make airplane engines, and obviously nobody's flying at the minute, so the work's low. So I'm just on furlough until I'm told. So I'm kind of just keep myself busy doing things like this and just pottering about. And things are easing up now. I don't know what things are like in Scotland, but here, like bars and stuff are open. I have shisha a lot, so I've literally just come back from shisha there actually. So. All
right, today's the first day the bars have opened in Scotland in the beer gardens.
But everybody's back at work who I know or who I hang with, so I'm just myself.
Oh shit! But look, we've got to get right into it. A whole bunch of questions coming in. We'll get to them in first a little bit. Competitive bodybuilding, but it's not just that, it's competitive bodybuilding. You mentioned coaching, you've been coaching online, I know, during this. So there's a whole bunch of different things, but you are Mr. Fitness. How do you go about describing everything you do in the one thing? Where did this all kick off? So where is it you grew up? Did you grow up in Sutherland or?
Seam is like seems like the town, and then Hawthorne's just like a little bit out. We kind of like live in, I wouldn't say the countryside, but like we're just a little bit outside where like fields and stuff separate Hawthorne from St. views, like fields and stuff. So we're kind of like, even though we're like only 5 minutes away from everywhere that is like busy, we're still kind of like out the way. Just somewhere where my mum and dad, I guess, wanted to retire, because we live in a bungalow, but it's not like a dinky bungalow. It's like it's a canny size and put an extension on and stuff. So then we're cool just pottering about in there. But when them decide what they want to do, if they want to go into a home and stuff, I want the house. So that's my plan. So they just put everything up for me, I guess.
You got to plan early. I like that. I like that.
Gotta be done.
So, where did things start in terms of you getting into fitness? Were your parents fit? Was it as the sportsman's running the family? Where did that sort of come from? Was it just sports staff at school? Where did it come from?
So at first I used to play football, and
right.
I was like a late bloomer, going through puberty and stuff, and actually trying to grow as trying to turn into an adult. I was playing for academies and stuff, and I got released from the academies I played for. So it was Sunderland. Then I went to Hartlepool for like a development centre type thing. So it was kind of like one of our coaches actually for a Russell Foster team, which is kind of like just Saturday league. It wasn't it's not an academy. Our coach was from Darlington, so kind of just got into there, and then I got Osgood-Schlatter disease in both my knees. Stopped playing altogether. I wanted to move to America, and I got a scholarship to go. And then I had like 3 days or something to decide whether I wanted to go. And because I was like a late bloomer, I was always like my mum's little blue-eyed boy, so she didn't really want us to go. It was all I went to college for and everything. And I was playing football for a Saturday league. Basically, go back to the whole why I started the gym thing. Basically, because I wasn't developed, I thought training would help us like hang with playing against adults and stuff, because I was playing in the I'm trying to think what it's called, Northern League. I played a couple of teams and I did all right and stuff, but the initial goal was to move to America. And then when that kind of fell away, it was like a weird kind of like Phil moment when I used to play for one of the teams. I was like not happy because obviously I was playing in a place called Chelsea Street, and there's just this man on the sideline screaming at us. I just thought like there's 15 people in the stand there, like you're just pissed and you just shouting nothing. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, so I stopped. Training was just the thing that I just kind of kept doing, and I used to train in a leisure centre. I moved to more of like a bodybuilding gym, and one of my friends, a really good friend of mine who's travelling now, he competed. And I just thought, I'll give it a crack at this. I was in no position to compete, but I didn't really know a lot about it. I just felt for as long as I trained, I would be able to look a tight way. But
what age is this then? About what age is this?
Say about 17, 18, I done my first show, and done one literally the year straight after that, which I realised was a mistake. Give myself a couple of years break, and then done another one, which, to be fair, it sounds strange. Kind of wish I'd just done my initial introduction to bodybuilding for my first show, and then not complete it until I looked the tight way, because I feel like there's a lot of people on Instagram now aren't actually doing it for them. They're just doing it to show, and it's not a sport that is. I don't really think you can just do it. You've got to love it, because there's so much shit you've got to put up with throughout. Like you've got to sacrifice it. You can't just go for food. You can't just go for drinks. As you get closer into prep, like your sex drive drops, and you can hit on your relationship, your family feel like they're walking on eggshells. Like this has to be something that you're really about. And if you're not about it, I really don't understand how people can force themselves into it. But I do find that the people that are the ones that have really bad relationships with food afterwards. And you can spot them from a mile away who's doing it for Instagram and who actually loves doing it. But yeah, it's quite a sketchy field to just decide that you're going to do it, because I get a lot of clients who, this mostly happens from the girls, like rather than just stay in shape and want to look the type of way, they feel like because they go to the gym and they start following loads of fitness people. Same with there's some lads that do it as well, and they're like, oh, I want to compete now, and it's like maybe you should just give yourself a little bit of time to make sure this is actually what you want to do. Because there's a lad who I go out with because I've got a mountain bike now. We do downhill work. And just jumps and stuff. I'm not at a standard to be doing anything crazy yet, but I'm slowly getting into it. Well, I prepped him for his first show, and it was just a little gym show, and he was proper into it. And after he'd done the show, he was just like, that was too much effort for what comes of it. And I don't actually think he's trained since. If I'm honest, he just scared the life out of him. So,
whoa,
it's a big ask to, like I'm saying, you have to kind of. It's very, very easy to be a bodybuilder on paper. You just follow the meals that your coach gives you. Don't do anything outside of that. If you do, make sure it doesn't affect other variables. And it's like it takes an impact on everyone else around you rather than you. It is a very, very selfish sport. So
yeah, it's kind of similar in respect of, even though it's not the same as bodybuilding and how a boxer will prepare. I mean, obviously they've got to put themselves into a bubble and to a camp, and they've really got to spend that time.
a reasonable amount of discipline. Well, not even a reasonable amount, like a good amount. It has to consume your life if you want to be good at it. But,
Yeah.
I'm kind of at a stage now where I know I'm not going to turn pro, and it's people be like, oh, well, you just talking down and stuff. Like, you got to understand that some people are just born to do certain things.
Yeah.
And like, even though I love it, I know I'm not going to go down that like a route where I'm going to do really well. I'm going to be on the Olympia stage and stuff. Or even if I do win a pro qualifier, like I know it would only be because the standard's not very good. But that doesn't take away my love for it. Sometimes you just got to start being a little bit realistic. And like, for example, like my coach, Cuba, he, at the age of 16, when he started, he was bigger than I am now.
Right.
And I'm like, I've been doing this for 7 years now. And I just know that I'm never going to look like him. I can still make me look good, but when you're competing against people who just have the same passion and desire for it, but are also genetically blessed, and they're just like I'm saying, it simply just comes down to people who are born to do it. And I don't know what degree of my life I'm willing to give away to chase something that, if I'm just being realistic, it's not gonna happen. But like I'm saying, it just definitely doesn't take away any of the passion for wanting to look the type of way. It's just focusing on getting me to where I want to be, which is why I'm kind of taking a step back from competing, because the more you do it, like if you just go in show after show after show, you're not giving yourself that time to actually make the improvements. So you're just stepping back on stage, pretty much looking exactly how you did previous. So I'm just coming to the realization of that. So rather than me be the one chasing it, I would rather just help other people get to where they want to be.
So is that you've developed a new, as passionate as you are about competitive bodybuilding, you've also found this new passion of being able to and like you say, there's a brutal honesty to what you're saying, and you can pass that on.
Be very deluded in something, and like sometimes you need to have that level of delusion, or I don't know if delusion's the best word to use, but it's like you have to be obsessed with what you do. But then, like, I've competed in 3 shows now, and I've not placed in any of them, and when you've got people like, oh, you're definitely going to win this one and blah, blah, it's like you have no idea who's going to turn up to these shows. Like, you generally don't have a clue. And when you rock up, you've given your absolute all and you're still not big enough. It's like the only way to get around that is just keep growing. Stop stepping on stage for Instagram and all that shit. Just do it for you. And I honestly feel like I've not made this much progress since I've made that decision. It's kind of like I'm a lot more relaxed with it.
Right.
Even though, because like, you do have like a regiment. You've got to make sure you get a certain amount of sleep. You've got to get all your water in. You've got to take your supplements and stuff. And along them lines, you've got to get your meals in. You've got to train hard and stuff. But like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like out of that bubble now where I will compete again eventually. But like, it's when I'm satisfied with my body, and like I'm in an off season now. So it's like in your off season, you're as big as you're going to be. Yeah. When I'm still not as big as I would like to be. I don't want to be like massive. I don't want to be like the people I've got on the wall and stuff. Like, I still actually want to be able to move around, because once you start pushing over like 250 pounds and stuff, like you can't move, you can't scratch your own back, you can't even put your socks on and stuff. It's like, even though I look up to it, it's not how I want to really live my life. I'm too active and on the go to be so like pigeonholed to one thing. So I guess that's kind of my reasons as to why I'm not in a hurry to step back on stage just yet.
So has this affected your training? Because like you say, you are more relaxed, you are more sort of in tune with what you're wanting to do in the long term. Because like you say, you sound relaxed about it. The pressure, you've taken the pressure off yourself, so you can
that's all it's really done. It's just remove the pressure of I must look like this. And like you kind of just do it anyway because you're just doing it for you rather than stage. But eventually stage will come, and for as long as I just keep ticking my boxes and doing what I need to do, eventually that time will come. So like the work rate and everything is still all the same, but obviously not during lockdown. I can't pretend that training in my shed, the stable, is as fun as training in a gym, because it's really not like atmosphere and everything. The gym that I train at is very like old school. It's how I like it. There's a lot of like gyms and that out there that's mad clean, and I'm not really about that, to be fair. So if I can just get back to the gym, hopefully things start escalating from there, and I'll start making the progress needed for me, not for stage. You know what I mean? So like, if I'm satisfied with how I look, then what you kind of get back from the judges doesn't really matter that much, because the last 3 times I've competed, they've told us things I already know. And it's just simply, I'm just not as big as the other people. And that's kind of why I just need to have plenty of time off to grow. And then when I'm at a place where I'm good, then I'll make a decision to step back on stage.
So here's a question for you in terms of just to the layman. I mean, competitive bodybuilding, it is a huge sport. And it's, so I mean, internationally, it's absolutely massive. It's almost, I hate doing the example because it's different. It's almost like strongmen. When you seek out these sports, you do realize how huge they are. I mean, I know you
as well. To be fair, like as well as just being a bodybuilder, like all of my friends are bodybuilders as well. The vast majority of them are anyway. And like, it's such a cool like community of people. And like I'm seeing, you get sponsors through it. You meet a load of new people. You venture new gyms, and it's like it can be toxic at times, but there's a lot of bitching that goes on. I'm not in group chats on WhatsApp and stuff. Whereas like I've heard that a couple of things that I've posted have been going around in group chats. Like I done my check-in before in the goat, because we've got goats. The goat like on the table, and I didn't even know it was there until it like jumped and ran out, and like that got sent all over, and I didn't even know. But it's like for the most part, I've only ever really experienced good from it. So it's like it's quite a cool thing to be a part of. Which again, I think that relates back to why I think people get into it for the wrong reason, because the people that follow, the people that they're friends with and stuff, they might compete. So they're like, oh, I might give it a go. And it's like, I guess you'll only really ever know until you've done it once. But I do feel like people kind of get into it too deep, and they're like, shit, like everyone I'm surrounded by now does this, and the only way I can kind of get out is by completely sacking it off. But if you sack it off, you lose all your gym friends, because you can only do this, like you only really do so much as a bodybuilder. In the off season, like I'm saying, you can be a lot more relaxed, but when it comes to prep, you've got to do what you've got to do. There's a lot of saying no to friends. I've lost a shit ton of friends through doing this, but at the end of the day, like the people that mean the most to you will stick around and support you, and the ones that don't really give a shit bounce, and you just got to let them leave. So there's definitely pros and cons to it, but for the most part, I've only really experienced good.
It's something that people don't really seem to understand about athletes and to performers to a certain degree, because even though you guys are huge athletes, I mean, obviously there's the big performance part of what you guys do, which in its own is the synergy between the shape you guys get into and obviously the presentation, because it is about that amazing presentation that we see. But in terms of actually going all the way back, you mentioned there about making the shift from being someone that goes to the gym, going to a bodybuilder gym. Like the layman won't get that. I mean, I could go, well, not right now, of course, but I could go to a pure gym and I could see a guy that's in shape, and most people go, oh my God, that guy's amazing. But folk don't get it. And you talked about the sacrifice, the meals, and living at 24/7 almost. What is the real difference to someone that could not really understand it, but what is the real difference with a bodybuilder's gym? You mentioned it having the old school mentality. Is it really a case of just getting your head down and putting the work in? What's the difference?
It's not clean. Like that's all it is. Like if you go like pure gym, there's exercise for less. I'm not even allowed in some of the gyms, like just because of how I train. It's very like there's no shouting, no nothing. It's just it's very. I find when I go to when I have been in these commercial gyms that are run by they're like government funded, so like not really supported by obviously the members paid, does contribute, but like it's mostly just some man who has or woman that has zero interest in it, stays right out the way. But I like gyms that have been homegrown by someone who's passionate and loves it, and like you never really see the manager of a pure gym in the when you train, you wouldn't even be able to know who that is. Whereas when you go into these type of gyms, chances are the owner of the gym sat behind the counter and he's having a big crack with everybody. He's having a good laugh and just very supportive of whatever your goal is. But I think honestly the best way to define it is just the fact that it's not going to be a massive unit that's dead clean with showers and stuff. It's just, and honestly, it's very male dominant as well. It would just be like a gym that really would intimidate the newbies, I would say. It's good. It is mostly girls again. Like they worry about how many people are looking at them and stuff, and because I get messages all the time from people that like, how do I get the courage to go to the gym? About like a lot of it is just what they kind of say to themselves. They think that they're going to go and everyone's going to be looking at them, when really most of the time it's just them looking at these other people. And don't get us wrong, I totally understand that there is proper creeps, like gym creeps in the gyms, and they are pervs and stuff. But yeah, in here in the gyms I go to, it is pretty much just go in, get the work done, and leave.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much how it is. But like I'm saying, the best way to define it is it's just not clean, and it's run by a passionate owner and not a businessman.
yeah. It's athletes. It's athletes training within their sort of domain, isn't it? We'll getting back to going into competitive bodybuilding for a second. When you made that transition, how was it when you first sort of went in for that first competition? Because you mentioned it earlier, and you said it was a shift that made you go, I'm going to go away and I'm going to come back and I'm going to get better at this. Yeah. How was it that, when did you think, how did you go about the process of, was it a case of like, I'm going to train until someone tells me I'm ready? Or was it a case of you thought, let's go?
I just want to do the same show as my friend. So right. He was like 20 weeks out, and then it got like 15 weeks out for me. And I was like, I'll just do the same show as you. I might as well do it with a friend who's going. So, and he actually coached me throughout it. So right. He was helping us along the way. So everything I kind of like learned at the beginning was through Sean, and he just kind of helped us through there. But yeah, and I don't know how to kind of explain the transition. I just made the decision to do it and just followed his lead, really. I'd never really been disciplined at anything.
Right.
And I kind of surprised myself what I was capable of doing. And then, like, I don't know, like when you surprise yourself, and obviously I like looking a type of way as well as being a bodybuilder. Like, I do like to look good. I don't know, I just kind of just jumped in and done it and really enjoyed it and just thought, fuck it, this is what I'm doing.
This is it. Yeah, now you mentioned going into coaching. Was that, what type of coaching? And you mentioned you're coaching athletes, trying to get them ready for potentially competitions.
Yeah.
And you're giving them advice and kind of mentoring. Is that the only coaching you're doing, or are you doing other types of coaching? Because you mentioned, of course, there's the background in football.
Yeah.
Is it lots of different types of athletes?
No, it's for the I wouldn't actually say they're all athletes. Some of them aspire to compete, but I kind of just let them know the mistakes that I've made.
Right.
So I kind of make them delay the whole competitive side, because again, a lot of people jump into the competitive side of it because of Instagram. They're just like, oh, can you coach us? And you know, like when I was saying about the sacrifice and stuff that need to be made, it's, people find out very quickly that they're not cut out for it. And I get clients that pack in within a week, no matter how flexible I am for them, like with the diets and letting them have drinks and stuff, because people drink. I personally don't drink much at all. It's like, has to be an occasion for us to have a drink. I just generally don't enjoy the taste of it. But within a week, they're just like, nah, this isn't for me. And they just drop out, which is cool. But then you get other ones that are just, they just do everything that you see and it's perfect. So like, there's pros and cons to the whole coaching thing. But it initially started through, actually, when I done my very first show, we used to do hill sprints at the beach. And there was one guys who really wanted to like just excel on losing weight. Really, he'd done a lot of himself, and then he was just, you know, it didn't matter if it was pissing down or rain, he would just be there at the beach waiting, because I had to do it regardless, because I had a show to do. But then, like, if it rained, people would drop out, because there was kind of few of us from the gym that used to meet at the beach. But then, like, weather dependent would depend on how many people would show up. But without fail, Gaz was like always there, and I just said to him, like, look, I don't know a lot, but I seem to be doing all right myself. So if you can just follow my lead and just showing, I guess, the transformation as to where he come, it made me feel so good. And I'd done all that for free. Like, it was never a charge at all. I helped a couple more people, and I kind of only started charging people because people just took the piss, really.
Right.
They would just not do as I was telling them, and it just become to the point where, like, at first, when you've got somebody who listens and does everything that they need to do and they really want it, it's such a good feeling to just help somebody along the way. But I'm saying, you do come across clients that they just really take the piss, and it's not that they kind of kid themselves. It's sometimes you just have to accept that it's not for you.
Yeah.
Rather than try to force yourself to do something that, like, if you've got somebody who goes out every weekend, and I've got to say, like, that you need to knock that on the head if you want to look a type of way, and they're like, and I'm like, well, I don't know what you want us to say. Like, this is what it takes.
Yeah. Some people are just not prepared for the sacrifice.
Simply what it boils down to. Like, and it's nothing against them. Like, everybody lives a completely different lifestyle, but, like, I definitely don't advise people to force themselves to do something when it's not for them. Like whatever sets you on fire out and like make you feel a type of way, do that. It doesn't have to be this because you've seen someone on Instagram that looks a type of way. Like you just see the body. You don't see the fact that you're causing stress in the house. You're falling asleep all the time. I had bloodshot eyes. I couldn't walk. I had no fat on my heels. I had to wear like shoes in the house and stuff because it was just mad painful. Like your sex drive drops. I had a girlfriend at the time. No single bit of sexual interest at all from, say, about 5 or 6 weeks out. And if you go try and explain that to a girlfriend, that fortunately mine understood, but if you've got a girlfriend that doesn't understand, again as well, like when so it's hard to kind of see all of the sacrifices, but it just depends on what scenario you're in. Like you can order in with your girlfriend all the time or boyfriend, and I feel like I always have to do that now. This soft as fuck generation now, like I have to justify for both sides and make sure I don't say anything wrong. It does my fucking head in. But anyway, I don't even know what I was onto there. I went on a different tangent. What was I talking about there?
We were talking about sacrifice, but I understand what you're saying. In terms
I know what I was doing now. You have to keep us on track because I just forget.
Don't worry about it.
It's like if you've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend that like you order in all the time, you sometimes go out for drinks and stuff. Not only does that come to an end for you, but then it comes to an end for them.
Yeah.
Where it's like sometimes it's nice just to get a pizza and watch a film, and it's like that's no more. Or watch your partner eat. And it annoys you because you can't have it. But like I'm saying, it just depends on what things mean to you. Because like you get to a point where you want the end goal so much, nothing kind of gets in the way, so you're not really fazed by a lot of the things. But again, you look on Instagram and everyone who's in prep, they're like, "Oh, I can't wait to eat this when it's over," and it's like your relationship with food is so bad, and I just think like you really shouldn't be doing this. Like, you enjoy cheat meals and stuff, and you do want them, but like when you're like smothering yourself in it, where I've got friends that literally would go to Asda and stuff, and like when they were on low carbs, they would touch buns. Like go to Asda. Do you have an Asda in Scotland?
Yeah, just touch buns.
No, this is not even a lie. They would touch how soft the buns are and just think, "Fuck, I can't wait until I can have this." And it's just like, you shouldn't be doing this now.
Yeah, that's serial killer stuff. That's terrifying.
It really is crazy, yeah.
But I've got to ask, who was your guys? Who was your inspiration? You know, who was the icons that you looked up to about when you were? Because we always do, you know, inspirations like for a comedian, it might be like, you know, Billy Connolly or Robin Williams or something like that. Is there anyone that you go, that guy, guy's an inspiration? Anyone like that?
Kai Green. So basically, when I was in prep, you have to do obviously you have to do cardio, and when you just sat on a treadmill or on a stairmaster or a bike, it gets kind of boring. So then you start watching things on YouTube and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're exposed to all these other fitness people, and then you look at who the pros are, and I guess you want to look in the end goal or a physique that you aspire to look at, and then you just start watching everybody else's YouTube. But Kai Green, I don't know if you can see. You can't see.
All right.
With the guy on the white poster there. I used to just watch all of his YouTube videos, and he was just doing the exact same stuff as I was doing. And then I was just like, this is what I want to do. But I'm seeing Kai Green initially was the one that set it all off. Apart from obviously Sean having that decision.
Of course.
He showed me photos of other people who I didn't know who they were. And then I kind of just done the digging myself. And then you kind of just find your own inspirations as to who you can kind of relate to. Yeah.
So you were mentioning Instagram and what have you. I've got to draw attention to your Instagram because the stuff on there is fucking incredible. But it's not just. But what I liked about it is, like you mentioned, people want to look a certain way, but it's kind of you're showing a lot of the sacrifice that you put into the gym and the time that you put in as well.
On my way into prep, and I was just very open with it. I'd go on my stories all the time. If I felt like shit, I would say I felt like shit. If I had something up, I would say what was up. Like, I kind of just feel like because I just view myself as just a normal person, but whether I like to think it or not, there's people that follow us and love what I do and show my interest. The messages I get are crazy from people. Like when I go to expos, I went to expos at first. There's the thing called Body Power in Birmingham, and I was the person that was queuing up to meet people. And then all of a sudden, I've got people queuing up to see me, and I'm just like, and like you get people coming up, and just how I would to like my idols, they're coming up stuttering, and I'm just like, just chill out there, like I'm just a normal person like you, and like it's just mad how like you just doing what you enjoy can kind of impact that many people. So then like when you know you have that impact, you kind of take on a level of, I guess, some sort of like responsibility to give out, I guess, like good information, and like I'm saying, understanding that it is affecting loads of people's mental health and stuff. It's like I want to make sure that people are 100% certain that this is what you want to do, and if I can kind of just give off and be as transparent as I possibly can throughout of it all, hopefully it gives them a better insight without having to experience it if they really don't, like if they're unsure. Because I'm saying it's only if you, like, just using Adam as an example, like who I go out on the bike with, he had to do it and then realize it wasn't for him. If I can kind of eliminate that process, of me just saying this is what happens, like already telling someone that your sex drive drops 5 weeks out from your show, somebody's girlfriend, well, I'm guessing girlfriend or boyfriend would just be like, fuck that, you're not doing that shit, like no way. And I'm saying it's just, I guess I just want to let everybody know what it actually takes to do this, because like, it's rough, but it sounds like I'm not selling it well, considering it's something I love doing, but it's like, you've got to love doing it. But it's like everything, like whatever field you kind of venture down, whether it's bikes, comedy, acting, like boxing, you name it, it requires a level of sacrifice. And if you're not about it, you're not even going to be able to compete with the people that are all about it. So I guess if I can kind of give off a good message, is even though a lot of it is negative in terms of like when I'm explaining what kind of goes on, I just want to be as transparent so people know what they're honestly getting themselves into rather than just guessing.
Yeah, because I equated it to a lot of the messages and stuff that you were putting across. I mean, you were brutally honest, you were inspirational. What I liked as well is there was a couple of bits on it where you did keep it light. You gave people content and being able to go, hey, look, here's some of the good stuff. Here's some stuff to, you know, make you smile. It was a little bit of everything. I equated to sort of comedy because, like, I'm a full-time stand-up comedian, and people go, that must be amazing. Oh, there's some right cunts in my industry, you know. When you've spent 10 years without going to weddings, and you said it there, the weekends, they're gone, and you need to have someone that is supportive of that and understands it.
Someone who kind of not shares the vision so much, but just wants you to do well. Like, sees how much it makes, like, to see what joy it brings to you, and then wants you to do well in that. Because I've dated people that are like, I don't really think you should bodybuild. I like you how you look now. You should. And it's like, fuck that. Like, you're trying to stop us from doing what I really enjoy doing. Like, without your passion, what real purpose have you got? Like, you don't need to be elite to do these things. You can just do them because you enjoy them and because it's what you love doing.
That's it. And somebody would understand that. But anyway, somebody's probably watching this, screaming at it, going, "You're a pair of bastards." Well, you're just fucking. You got to be in a situation, man. You got to be in a situation. Which brings us to Braw Beard. Which certainly, how did the hookup happen between you and John at Braw Beard?
So basically, as you can see, that I'm losing hair big time. So that's why I'm rocking on my little mohawk for clinging on for what I've got left. And I grew a beard out massive. Like, I look like, what are the Amish? Is that what it is? Or Amish?
Oh, the Amish, yeah. The guys
were like very, like, it's so strange how, especially how much of a late bloomer I was. Then all of a sudden I just got this fucking beard, and it was massive. And I literally went to a place called East Coast Barbers, and then like specify in people who cut beards and stuff, and they're like bikers, and like, I guess that's the theme that I wanted to go down. But to be fair, everybody goes there for the haircut, so they do a good job. And when I went, I was just like, just take this off. It looks awful, because it wasn't shaped. It was just a big mess. Right. And Stu was just like, I'm not cutting that off. Like, no way. He's like, I'll do something with it, and if you like it from there, we'll keep it. If not, then I'll take it off. So he kind of like neatened it up for us, and I was like, fuck me, that actually looks all right. So kind of just rocked it from there. And so them sell Braw Beard oil products. And I literally got my first haircut and beard trim from East Coast. Got the oil because he was telling us this is what I should be using for it. Tagged East Coast and Braw Beard oil on my story, and then the messages from there, and just says, "Do you want to be athlete for the brand. I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's go.
Yes. So what is it? What is it you use? I'm going to ask, what is it you use on a regular basis?
I use mostly the shampoo and the oil. So I don't know if this is how most people do the beards now, but I'll wash my beard with the shampoo and then I'll get out the shower or the bath when it's wet, and then I put the oil on and then I dry it with the oil and with the beard. Right. Whereas I know a lot of people that would dry it and then put the oil on to be conditioner. But if you dry it with the conditioner, if you dry it while it's wet with the oil in, you can kind of like shape it better. It seems to dry nicer. Sounds very fucking.
No, it's you want.
I do, but it's.
You want it to look good. You want it to look good.
Yeah, I guess it's how it looks. So yeah, and I've never used the I've got I think it's the butter, but I always just use the oil. And when I'm out and stuff, the oil just seems to last. So I use the oil, the shampoo, oil, and then I use the bath salts as well.
Oh God, the recovery bath salts are amazing. It's a running theme in this, from comedians to boxers to tattooists. Everybody fucking loves the recovery bath salts. They're absolutely amazing. And the thing is, you do want to look nice, because we sort of only had it a wee bit earlier, but obviously, if you are in competition, I hate using the phrase brand. I hate using the phrase like you're yourself. You're your own biggest asset. Yeah. You do want to look good. You do want people to pay attention to how you look and that type of thing. Do you think it's helped you grow in terms of people being, like you mentioned, people coming up to your expos? Do you think it's helped you sort of get out there a little bit and what you're doing in terms of coaching and still training?
Well, just by maintaining a look.
Yeah, by maintaining a look. Again, I hate using the phrase brand. I know it's Braw Beard, the Braw brand, but you know what I mean. Having your own.
How many messages I actually get about the beard oil and stuff, and like asking what products I use, I generally didn't even think, because not many people I know have beards.
Right.
But obviously I've got followers from all over the place, and they all message and stuff, and I just let them know what I use and stuff. But my beards, it gets a tiny bit of attention, to be fair. I got called Conor McGregor again today, when Conor McGregor does not have a mohawk at all. And he definitely doesn't have this beard either, so I don't understand where that comes from, but I get it loads. Whenever I wear a flowery shirt and glasses, all I get, it kills us. But yeah, I guess you should just want to look good or feel good for yourself anyway. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's like normal behavior. Like, it says a lot about you. So you don't have to be dolled up to the nines and fucking Gucci and that just to look a type of way, but just general, get your hair cut, trim your beard, like, don't look like shit, basically. And that should only be for you. Yeah. And I guess it just kind of shows that if you're well maintained, that I guess it just shows that you're not scruff, really, if I'm honest.
It's something folk don't need to be embarrassed about. Why not look good? Why not look good? It's one of these things.
I have bath bombs and everything, mate. I'm up, I moisturize and shit. I don't care.
Hang on.
The skin about me.
Mate, I was using moisturizer just before we started. I had a must that I had to do this thing. I had to do this thing for like.
Where's that gone now?
They made me shave it off, man. It's like I started doing this kids TV thing in like January. And then I got to grow beard, and then Corona happened, and they sort of went, "We need you to look like you did in January." And it's like, yeah, bastards. Because I had a doctor at Botnick, man. I'd gone the whole hog. I'm fucking gutted, but I've still got my wee one.
Without a beard,
I only did it because they asked dead nicely. But the worst thing is I'm going to get my hair all trimmed, because it's a fucking disgrace. That is why I've got that one, man. It's like, see, like my undercut. If someone's watching this right now, give me a hand. My undercut's like coming out. It's like the Nutty Professor, man. I look like some fucking state. But I've got to ask, what's the plans for the future? Then you said like you're taking the time off. Is coaching going to be a big focus, as well as just looking after your sort of own fitness? And
I can, yeah. Eventually, I would like to, with doing this, actually, it's me just want to rent a unit out and just have my own gym for me, because even though this is cool, it's not big enough and it doesn't have all the equipment in that I want, but I do feel like if I can kind of create that environment in my own place and then kind of do one-to-one PT, and from there, I would love to do it. But honestly, I'm at the minute I just want to enjoy my life, not doing anything crazy or anything because it doesn't affect what I do. It's just like I'm saying, I've getting the mountain bike, and it's something I never in a million years thought I'd ever do. But like, I guess just broaden my horizons a little bit and just getting out there, seeing what life is really all about. Because I'm saying when you do bodybuilding stuff, you do pigeonhole yourself a lot. And
yeah, you got the blinkers on.
For as long as I can just get my meals in, for as long as I get my training session in, it's kind of made us utilize my rest days an awful lot more. So like I'm saying, we go to Hampstead Forest and stuff out on the bikes, and I go for walks. I want to get a paddle board. I'm even looking at getting a van and converting it into a camper van so I can just drive somewhere and just not have to come home or not have to get a hotel and just chill in there. And some of the van conversions, it sounds crazy. I always just thought of it like you didn't have a lot of money if you lived in a van. I definitely don't want to live in the van, but just be over a couple of nights and stuff and just being there. Like if you just go on Instagram and hashtag like van life and stuff, obviously they're all in different countries and stuff, so the scenery outside the van's loads nicer. But like, I don't know, like I guess it's just sure to give us a new love for like the outdoors and stuff. And yeah, I just know there's a lot of things that I haven't done. Yeah. So until I've actually done them, I want to kind of see if anything does grab my attention. At the minute, the bike has. So I definitely don't let it get in the way of my training. So like my training remains a staple. And what I'm saying as far as the future goes is just continue build my business. I take photos and I do videos and stuff for people. So if I can kind of push that a little bit more and just eventually step on stage again, push my clients and just help them get to where they want to be. And for me, just get the most out of life as much as I can. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, look, mate, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'll make sure everyone, if you're watching, I should be down below us. You can see Calvin's Instagram. Obviously, you're not on Facebook or anything like that. We know that.
I'm not on Facebook, but it's just my business page for my photography, videography.
All right.
But besides that, I rarely even use my Facebook. It's just full of people that pretend they're politicians and everyone's just arguing and shit. I'm like, I can't be fucking arsed. Literally, I go and have 2 scrolls and it's like there's riots everywhere, and I'm like, I don't even need to look at this shit. Like, I purposely do not watch the news because it's always just negative. There's never any, like, I've never watched the news and getting good from it. So I'm just like, fuck that. I'm not even wasting my time. And then when I go on my phone or anything on Facebook, I'm just like, this is what I said I wasn't going to do. So I'm rarely on my Facebook. I pretty much just run everything through my Instagram.
There's that discipline again, man, because I cannot stand Facebook.
Man. Like, sometimes I myself on my Instagram, I've been on there ages, and it's just like, fuck, I need to actually get a life and again get outside. That's one reason why I really do like having the bike, because like when you're in the middle of the woods and stuff, you're pretty much just focusing on not falling off. Yeah. And your attention isn't elsewhere, and you're not bothered about what everybody else is doing and shit. You just live in life, I guess. So
live in the moment. That's what it's all about. Well, look, man, thanks very much for joining us. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pop you in the green room and I'll finish this up, and I'll talk to you in just a second. All right.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it.
Everyone, give it up for Calvin. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been another cracking episode. We're going to be back next Monday. Don't forget, this video is going to be up, so you're going to be able to share it on social media. Just hit that share button. Tag a pal that you think might be interested as well. And don't forget to check out everything that's going on at Braw Beard Oils. All the info about some new products that have just gone up in the shop, and they are shipping now as they have been right through lockdown. Right, I've been Billy Kirkwood. Feel free to follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me home. I don't give a fuck at this point. I haven't got anything in, so never mind. Like, look after yourself. All the people that are going on about the mustache, that'll have to do just now. I'm growing it back. Get over it. Look after yourselves, everyone, and stay safe. I'll do this whole bit that I have to do awkwardly at the end of every show where get the closing credits without trying to look at it.